we're going to get a little bit more advanced with our programming, in other words catching errors and handling the errors that may occur. This may not be to your taste, so you could probably move on to the next section of API coding, which will do a mashup with what we've already got with another Google API. We're also going to try and create libraries to make our coding a little bit more rounded. I will do certain videos just of the code, as I did in video 13, so that you don't have to go through all the explanations if you don't want. And again, this is something that you may not be sort of interested in. You might just want to get the data and play around with the data. But then again, I'm going to try and make it so that it's a bit more secure, so that we can handle everything that goes on and make quite a good app if we need to. So we're going to try handling exceptions. Now what that means is when there's a problem. Now if I can sort of demonstrate to you, let's say that we have we've already handled the point where the data comes back and we've sent in a nonsense address. But what happens if we maybe have made a spelling mistake? So I'm going to go to here, and instead of Google APIs, I'm just going to put Google API. So I've actually got the wrong address, and that's going to create an error. So if I save that and run the program, hopefully we will see what the error will be. So it's going to ask me for information. Let's just type in that CV1280 again. Doesn't really matter what we put in because there is no address, and it crashes. And the important part is that all of this error message is giving us a problem. Here it's telling us we've got an input-output error. And input-output, obviously, because we are trying to call that website at this place here, and that website doesn't exist because we spelt it incorrectly. However, we're using URL-lib, which is okay in Python 2.7. It can get a little bit complicated, and there is a better library which we shall use more often when we're looking at different kinds of files, CSVs and XMLs. So I'm going to introduce it to you now, and it's called URL-lib2, which is quite a step forward and difficult to guess. URL-lib2, that's a more advanced library. And what I need to do is, instead of calling URL-lib, I'm going to keep this in because we may still need URL-lib, but I'm going to call URL-lib2 URL open. So all I've done is changed the if I spelled it correctly, all I've done is changed from URL-lib to URL-lib2. And if we save that and run it again, we should hopefully get different kind of error messages. So if I put in my CV1280 again, and there we go, we've got a different kind of error message now. We've got a URL error instead of an input-output error. So this library is actually better for handling calls to the web. So I'm probably going to use that more often. However, I'll probably still use URL-lib in some basic videos, but URL-lib2 I'm going to be using for more advanced work. And it's those errors that I'm going to try to catch. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to handle this URL error. So let's just stop and then move on to the next one.